I will say the accomplishment of these projects you just read, which I outlined 10 years ago, 12 years ago really, have been astoundingly successful. It exceeds my expectation, amazingly exceeds my expectation. Number one, we have established Operation Yamaya headquarters, mission headquarters in Borongle, South Sudan. The headquarters as by itself is a small village unto itself. It's a small town unto itself, but we're trying to keep it with a village taste to it. What we have there is amazing. We have a church. We have called the Bethesda Messianic Congregation. We have Nehemiah Field Clinic. We have Nehemiah Trumpet called the radio station, and then we have water, deep well that is supplying over 5,000 people in the neighborhood. We have an adjacent high school, which we don't run, but primarily it's run by community-based, but they need water. We're able to supply them. It's amazing. Off into the farmland that we're talking about, we opened 200 acre, called the Bethesda farmland, and there we have built a big house where we are going to move a number of family there to live in the farm. And down to 30 miles south of us, we have the Nehemiah Trumpet called Tower. That's 300-foot tower on Golden Mountain in Nimule. And we have a grinding mill where the entire village come and grind their corn and their sorghum, so they can have flowers for their food, to prepare their food. So yes, what has happened there is a success. And we have seen so much has happened. And as I said, the communication center, when we came in at the time, there was no communication. Talking about, there were no cell phones. At the time, you use this satellite phone, and it costs $5 a minute. We were the first to put a communication center there in a wilderness. But that communication center has transformed into primarily, I wouldn't say we don't own cell phone towers. That was not our focus primarily, but we owned the radio station, which is an incredible way of communicating the gospel to the people. And the country has come a long way. There are now wireless cell phones around. People can call each other. And for that, I'm grateful. Now, when it comes to Nehemiah Polytechnic Institute, I would say that too has succeeded. It went from refugee camps into Borongole, but I would say it is Nehemiah Polytechnic without walls. In other words, we didn't put so much emphasis in trying to build buildings to do the Nehemiah Polytechnic Institute, but rather everything that we are doing is technical. Everything that we are doing is hand-on. I will think of the Nehemiah Interlocking Block Productions, where we produce these incredible blocks that is non-traditional and tested globally for engineering precision for buildings. And the people are trained within a month. They can build their own house and they can produce the blocks on the ground. And you can talk about our agricultural team. They work with their own hands, operate tractors and plant tropical crops and fruits such as oranges and bananas and open vast lands. All of these things, we put a bridge, and it's built by local engineers. And these people were trained on job, and they did excellently well. I can talk about pastoral leadership. People send their men to be trained as pastors and as leaders in different countries. We train them on the ground so they don't leave the presence of their family. We disciple them there, and we give them pastoral workshop. They work right there. So I could talk of family workshop, whereby men are discipled to love their wives and to understand marriage. These are all done there. Nurses, we train them. We don't send them for long-term training, but it's in a short time they come back to help in the clinic and so forth. I will talk of the radio station programmers. Our leadership under Timothy Levy is incredible. He trained 7 gentlemen, very hard-working individuals. They learn how to operate the radio, how to set up programs 24/7. They're learning that. So they take Nehemiah Technical Institute or Nehemiah Polytechnic Institute. I could talk of drilling water and they're doing all this by themselves. I mean, the vision have, as I say, have succeeded beyond expectation, and those people that we are working with and we are encouraging to work with their own hands, indeed have dropped the mentality of the UN-based relief dependency. They are working with their own hands. They saw the fruit of living as a Christian in a good store of the biblical, order of what God wants them to do with their life, and that put joy in our heart. So it fulfilled the vision of Operation Nehemiah. It fulfilled the vision of Nehemiah, the rebuild of Jerusalem wall, that let's rise and build. And so the people put their hands for this good work. And the people in America, the church in this country, are so blessed. Those who are on our mailing list, who read our news, see these things, something that they don't see on the mainstream media, what the ministry is doing. Because what you hear about Sudan is just number of starving children, X number of children will die of hunger, and so on and so on. But when we bring them this news, pictures from the land, people are astonished and astounded by seeing what God is doing. So in that sense, yes, all the thing that you mentioned there, which I wrote back in 12 years ago, have succeeded and come to fruition, and it really exceed our expectation. For that, I thank God, and I thank all of the donors across this country who have really stood behind this ministry and bring this effort to. We're not done yet. There's so much to do. But for so far, if this is where God wants us to stop, I would say Dayano, or it will be enough. But we're not done yet.